It's good to see you guys. I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins from Your Black World and the Black Business School, and I wanted to have an emergency conversation among Black people, intelligent Black people, about an issue that's probably going to draw some controversy, probably going to get people thinking, get some people with their opinions out. The comedian Monique made some really interesting remarks about. The whole concept of the side chick, which we know what that is. We know that basically comes from this idea that she seems to feel that monogamy was something that was given to us by Europeans, and that it's not appropriate, and that it's the reason that a lot of the relationships that we have now do not last. And so, in order to dig deeper into this topic, I spoke to, or I reached out. I was how can I say this? I was connected with a woman by the name of Sunshine, and Sunshine can actually give me her last name. I don't even have it. What's your last name, Sunshine?
Cummings.
Sunshine Cummings, and she. Sorry, how do you spell that?
Cummings.
All right, Sunshine Cummings, and she is a women's holistic wellness expert. She specializes in fertility, sexual wellness, things like that. And I want to welcome Sunshine to the platform. How you doing today, sister?
I'm awesome. How are you?
Doing very well, very well. So let me, Sunshine, let me go through and sort of break out what Monique sort of said, so that we don't, we don't misinterpret her remarks, or we try to get the best interpretation possible. So effectively on her, on her show, she was speaking about, about things that relate to relationships, and this whole idea of monogamy, and the fact that monogamy is not, it's almost like it's old fashioned. And she actually went out of her way to say, and I would play the clip, but I don't want to cause any issues with copyrights and stuff. So I'm actually trying to find the quote. But based on that idea, just based on the simple idea that that we're doing it wrong, that this monogamy thing, it isn't working because it's not supposed to work, that that the woman should open the door to allow openness in the relationship. I guess kind of like Monique and her husband have going on with their relationship. What were your thoughts on that when you first heard it?
I agree and I disagree. Well, there's certain parts of it I agree with. I'm not necessarily agreeing for the same reasons, but I think she may be onto something.
Interesting. Well, you say she's on to something. Now now you got to explain. Now you're gonna have some people mad at you, like, wait, what do you mean on to something? No, she crazy.
Yeah.
She crazy.
They're gonna be mad at me too. I'm sure. But I believe that sexuality is a spectrum. Like you have homosexuality, heterosexuality, and you have everything in between. And I believe that's the same case with relationship structures as well. You have monogamy, you have people that are truly monogamous, people that are on the other end of that spectrum, and then you have people that are in between. I think there are very few people that are actually monogamous based on the definition of the word, what it actually means, what it stands for.
Okay. Well, it was interesting. Now, I want you guys to tell me what you think. Leave your comments in the chat and give your opinion. Yes or no. Do you think that Monique is right or wrong? Right or wrong? Just give me a yes or no. Ball Swag, Jade, Harriel, Monique, George, Kenneth. Tell me what you guys think. If you guys think Monique is right, give me a yes. If you think she's no, or excuse me, wrong, give me a no. Let me know what you think, because I'd like to see what you're. Okay, so I see a wrong from Allison. Let's see. You choose us or not, says Mooney. Isaac says wrong. American Princess says no. Vernal says partially. Garros, to each his own. Dante says yes, she's right. George says wrong. Kenneth says yes and no. So Kenneth agrees with you. Wrong, I don't think so, says Ariel. Ani Girl says no. Okay, so I see a lot more no's than yeses, and I see some yes and no's in there. Hit the thumbs up button, by the way, everybody. Please hit the thumbs up button. So based on that reaction, Sunshine, I want to ask you this question. Do you think that when people answer a question like that, do you think that they're given the answer that they really believe, or do you think that they're given the answer that that other people want to hear? What do you think?
I think they're given the answer that their human self believes, based on conditioning, based on social programming. and based on probably experiences. Because if you ask those same people who said it's wrong and said no, ask them, have they cheated? Have they ever cheated? Probably some of them, maybe not all. Probably a huge percentage of them might say yes. And if that's the case, if you were truly monogamous, then why would you cheat?
Interesting. So, okay, so when you talk about cheating, that idea, that concept of cheating is intriguing to me, because cheating, it's almost like you think about a game. If I say you cheated, that means that there were rules to the game and you broke those rules, right? And so it's really fascinating. When we think about relationships, the first thing that a lot of us are walking into is we're kind of committing to a structure that has rules and protocols that you must abide by. And if you do not abide by these rules and protocols, then you are technically a cheater. You made a promise that you chose not to keep. Now, what is interesting to me is, love is a very strong, powerful force. I believe love is the most powerful force in the universe. And the power of love and mixed with the power of lust, I'm wondering if, when you look at the statistics and you look at how many marriages die because somebody cheated, right? I mean, that infidelity is the number one cause of divorce, right? I often wonder if the power of love and lust drives people to make promises that, they may not be able to keep. It's like I had a cousin who was on crack, and he would come and ask me for money, and I'd be like, well, I'll give you a job, or I'll give you some money, but you got to stop using drugs. And he'd be like, okay, I promise I won't do it. I won't do it no more. And he really means it. Like, he ain't lying. He's really telling the truth. But then next thing I know, I hear, oh yeah, he didn't show up because he's over getting high, right? Eventually you're like, okay, I get it now. Now I get it. The reason that you're so convincing to me, because I would get mad. I'd be like, why you lie to me? Man, you lied. What's wrong with you, man? You keep telling me this. And he's like, oh no, man, I'm sorry. And here's what I figured out. The reason he was so convincing was because he wasn't lying to me. He was telling me the truth. The problem was that he was making a promise that he probably he wasn't ready to keep, right? In that moment, he really didn't want to use the drugs. In that moment, his respect for me led him to want to be the man that I needed him to be, to follow through on the promise that he was making to me. He wanted to keep the commitment, but sometimes the drug, drugs are a powerful thing, just like love and lust and attraction are a powerful thing. So do you think that happens in a lot of relationships where, people will say, oh, he was a dog because he cheated, or she was a dog because she cheated? And do you think that that cheating necessarily makes the person a dog, or do you think that it was a person who really loved you enough to try their best, like my cousin, try their best to be the person you want them to be, but maybe the standard was just something that's difficult for them to maintain? What do you think?
Right, and that's the thing, because we have this standard in society that once you're in a relationship, that this is the norm. Monogamy is the standard, and there, like I said, I believe that there's so many different possibilities for a relationship. It's a spectrum. And so you can fall anywhere on that spectrum, from monogamy to completely, I don't know what the opposite of that would be. Polyamory, maybe that's the opposite of that, and then there's all the stuff in between. So I just don't believe that most people really are that, but because society says that that's what the relationship structure is supposed to be. And that's where I agree with Monique in the sense that someone introduced this as the standard because it benefits men. I don't know that I would necessarily say that it's white supremacy, more so than I would say it's patriarchy.
So you think monogamy as a concept benefits men more than women, or you think it benefits women more than men, or you think it equally benefits them both? What do you think?
I think it benefits men. When you look at history, think about the 50s and things like that. The men leave the house, the women are at home, taking care of the kids, taking care of the household. The men are out doing their thing in the streets, but they know that you're home because you're only with them, you're faithful to them, but they're out doing their thing. So I think men benefit more so from monogamy than women do. At least they have in the past.
Interesting. So do you think that, I guess the reason I asked that question is because when I'm seeing, who usually is getting dragged for infidelity, it's not as often that I see the man saying, oh, I divorced her because she cheated. These women are dogs. That's all they do is they cheat, right? I'll hear it come from the woman. I'll hear the woman say, he cheated, therefore he's a liar, therefore he's a bad person. He's in a bad relationship, or sorry, he made promises that he didn't keep. He just told me lies. Um, so I almost wonder if this statement about monogamy being bad. I'm wondering, if you had, let's say you had polyamory, allowed, who would be happier? You think women would be happier if people just started doing this on a more regular basis, or you think men would be the ones who would benefit the most from that?
I think everybody would be happier because with polyamory comes openness, comes honesty, comes communication, and that's what a lot of people lack in their relationships, which cause people to cheat, which cause people to sneak behind people's back because they don't feel like they can be open, they can be honest with their partner about the fact that they may be attracted to someone else or they may want to be with someone else. And so people just lie because this standard is in place that says, no, you're with me, you're supposed to only be with me. And then on top of that, there's also this idea that you own someone, that they're your possession, that, this whole talk of your mind, or you have my heart, or I have your heart, or whatever the lingo is, people feel like they possess other people, and that's just not really the case.
Interesting. By the way, I'm talking to Miss Sunshine Cummings, and she is an expert on women's holistic wellness and as well as sexual wellness and fertility. And we're talking about the comedian Monique making remarks in which she basically said that monogamy is for suckers. She didn't say that, but she's saying it in so many words, and that women should allow their men to have a side chick. Now she has mentioned, in her very open expression of her own relationship with her husband, she's talked about the fact that she wanted to explore other options, right? And it's interesting because when she said, we have these celebrity couples that we kind of put up on a pedestal. We say, oh, I love their relationship. I hear people use that kind of language, and I think that that's a little bit dangerous because a lot of the people in Hollywood have weird things happening in the background. Like I know for a fact that there are a few very prominent couples that everybody just loves to death, where the reason that they're so open and free is because the man don't even want to sleep with the woman and with women, and the woman don't even want to sleep with men. So they're like, oh yeah, of course you should be free to do what you want. Well, if your wife is gay and your husband's gay, then of course, yeah, whereas when you talk about heterosexual energy and people having the natural the natural jealousies or even some forms of possessiveness. It almost seems like that some of these models that are presented by these celebrities don't always work for regular people. So let me ask you. So do you think that with Monique, starting this conversation and kind of saying like, yeah, we should. We should allow a little openness in our relationships if you want the relationship to last. Do you think that people are receptive to this, or do you think that they're gonna just say, no, you're crazy, or this is ridiculous? Or do you think that gives Monique more credibility with the community or less credibility?
I think there are going to be a lot more people that disagree with her, but again, it's because of their programming. It's because of what they've been conditioned to believe. And then also, not only that, just their, I don't want to say inability, but their lack of a desire to transcend that part of themselves, that jealousy, that anger, that rage, that possessiveness. Like, people don't want to do the work that it requires to not be that way. Like anger, like all those emotions, those are considered negative emotions on the spectrum of emotions. And you have jealousy, that's like a human emotion, right? But if we want to transcend that and say, okay, like, I love you enough. I think the terminology is compersion. I love you enough to see you happy, whatever that means for you. That's really love in my eyes, to give without seeking anything in return. So if I love you enough to want to see you happy, to want your happiness over anything else, then I have to deal with my jealousy. I have to deal with my anger. I have to deal with my possessiveness.
That's a real deep statement you made, and I don't hear I don't hear very many people say that. Honestly, I'll confess, the last 10 years, I have felt that way. But I just don't say it much because it's so different from what people say, to each other and in the mainstream media that I don't even know if it's even possible to explain it properly, But one thing I learned as a man was that I learned that jealousy was a very crippling emotion. Jealousy, it eats away at you. It makes you less attractive. You know, like you watch. I watch relationships and I watch marriages where the man is like, "Where are you going? Who is that? What is that? Get away from it!" You know, and I'm sitting there thinking, you don't even realize that you're really, literally whittling away at your own relationship. You know, you're creating a self-fulfilling prophecy because there's going to be a point where she's going to get so sick of your petty jealousy that she's going to walk away, and then all your worst nightmares will be realized. She really will be laying up with some other dude because you've been manifesting that through your crazy negative behavior, right? And so so I remember working within myself to say, I'm going to do everything I can to confront and eliminate jealousy. And one of the conclusions, a couple of the conclusions I came to help me deal with jealousy was, one, remembering that there's always other fish in the sea. That was important. So if somebody don't want you, that's all right. Move on to somebody who does. You know, if you spend your time chasing somebody who don't want you, then you're wasting time that could be spent with the person who really does want you. The second thing that helped me a lot was getting rid of the natural possessiveness that we have. I tend to think men are a little more possessive than women, but you see some possessive women out here too. And I think it's something about that testosterone. We like to pee around the tree and be like, this is mine and I own this. And men get real funny when it comes to the sex. Like, tell me if y'all understand what I'm talking about. Like a man will really, like, it makes me think about that Belle Biv DeVoe song, I Thought It Was Me. I thought it was me that makes that girl this way. I thought it was me. I come to find out she's like that every day, right? Men really get like that. Like, men really be like, I thought it was me. Like, it's me. Like, I'm the first man to ever, cause explosions and fireworks in the bedroom. I'm the first. I'm the alpha. I'm the omega. Before me, there were none. After me, there will be no more. And there better not be none while I'm here, because that's just totally unacceptable. So then what happens is, here's what happens. I've seen this, right? So then when she walks away, when something goes wrong and she's with some other dude, you can't take it. Because your brain literally is not prepared to process that reality of her being with another man. And that is traumatic. Like, that is like a shock to your system, And I was like, I don't like that feeling at all. So one of the things I learned, and this is me just giving you guys a thoughts, consider it advice if you think it's good advice. If you think it's dumb advice, just ignore me. But I remember, I reminded myself, you know what? If I'm with this woman, it is because she is gracing me with her presence. She's choosing to share herself with me. This is not this stuff that she got. It ain't mine. So if she's like, well, whose blanky blank is this? You know how people get. I'll be like, nope, it's yours. It's always yours, and it will be yours. For as long as you live. And I am here because I'm an invited guest in your home. And the minute you decide that I'm not going to be here anymore, then I need to accept that and move on. Because if you can't accept that, I think that's how, there's a lot of people in prison who have killed over jealousy because their mind constructed this idea that another person belonged to them. And what it effectively can do, I think, is cause you to sometimes focus on all the wrong things. Like I can be with you and thinking, if I'm not the only person you're attracted to every single day of the week, all the time, year round, then that means you don't love me. If I find out that you even looked at another man, thought about another man, whatever it is, then that means you don't love me. And I just don't think that's true. Tell me if you guys think I'm crazy or not. Like, give me your thoughts on this. What are your thoughts on this, Sunshine?
You are right on. That's exactly it. Like, it's ridiculous to think that you'll never be attracted to someone else again just because you're in a relationship with one person. And that's where the whole cheating and all of that comes in, when you're not even able to be honest with your partner about that. Like, I've been in relationships where I can't even say I thought another person was cute. Like, come on, you see them? Like, am I crazy? Like, hello, And so it's just ridiculous, to think that that's the case. And it just doesn't happen with most people. And that's why I say I don't really believe that the majority of people are truly monogamous.
Well, a lot of the evidence supports what you're saying. I mean, if you look at how many marriages end because of infidelity. Now, there is one theory I've heard that says that it really ain't just the infidelity. It's something deeper, right? Like the depth to which the infidelity matters really depends on other things that are going on. If the person's not happy, then they get mad because of the infidelity. But if they're very happy, then maybe they view it in a different way, right? But if you look just on the surface of those statistics of how many marriages are ruined over infidelity, I think that leads that it should open the door for us to at least reconsider or to diagnose that, figure out like what's really happening. What I see when I see infidelity ending so many marriages is I see a busted fantasy. So somebody, maybe both of you came in with this idea, this illusion of what your relationship would be like, and when the illusion did not manifest itself the way you wanted it to, you gave up, or you felt like, okay, this is bad, this is a nightmare, I gotta go. And I think it's fine if you go and you're glad that you went. But I've seen people, in good marriages over, some infidelity or whatever, and then the next thing you know, you're out here dating again, and the next person you date, I mean, you worried about what your partner, who your partner slept with, but the new person that you just met, they could have slept with 30 people, before because there's no restrictions on what. So when people say things like, infidelity is a good reason for divorce because it puts someone's health at risk, which is true, absolutely, from an absolute standpoint. But then again, when you compare the amount of sexual activity among, say, married men versus men who are just single doing whatever they want, it's a whole different world. Maybe your partner cheated on you twice in the last year, but I've seen guys, especially guys with money, fame, and all that dozens of women every year. So I don't even know if that's necessarily the argument. I guess I would say whatever makes people happy is what they should do. But I think that it's very concerning when people are entering into a situation after situation, thinking they're going to get one thing and then they get something else, and then they don't know how to make it last. Like when I look at relationships, I look at like my parents' relationship. My parents were married 45 years. My grandparents were married about 65 years until my grandmother died. My grandfather took care of her until her very last days when she was 89 years old. And I know that those marriages were not perfect. I know that there was a lot going on there that would have led to instant divorce for most people. And it's almost like when people say they want the fairy tale of, happily ever after. I really sit here and I think, I don't really know if you're really about that life. Are you sure you really understand what that really means? Because it ain't flowers and fairy tales like you think. What are your thoughts, Sunshine?
I agree with that. I totally agree. I think a lot of times, people see that like, oh, they've been married 50 years, they've been married 60 years, 40 years, 20 years. Oh, I want that. And like, you have no idea what they've been through, what they probably are still going through, the infidelities and all of that. And I think that a lot of that would be avoided with just open communication. See, when I say, like when my husband and I got together, we said that we were in an open relationship. And that's what our status was on Facebook. And there were people like, what does that mean? Da, 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 da. And I'm like, well, for me, that just basically means open and honest. Like, I'm able to come to you and be open to you about whatever. People say they want their spouse or their partner to be their best friend. Well, don't you tell your best friend everything? Aren't you able to tell your best friend whatever it is that you feel without feeling judged, without feeling shame, without feeling embarrassment or whatever? And if that's what you truly want, then that's what the relationship should be. If that's your best friend, then you should be able to be open and honest and communicate about everything, anything. And when you do that, that eliminates things like cheating and infidelity. And I think what Monique is saying really, when she says allow your husband, Black women need to allow these men to have side chicks. I don't really like the side chick term because I think it puts a different perspective in people's minds because of what that means and what that signifies in our community. But what I think I hear her saying is, just be open to that because you're probably not going to be the only person that he's attracted to. But I think it goes both ways. It's not just allow these men to do that. Men need to be okay with their wives or partners, girlfriends, whatever, also being open with them. And open doesn't necessarily mean I get to go out and have sex with whoever I want to and be with whoever I want to. It just means that I'm going to be open with you about my feelings, open with you about my desires, open with you about what it is that I want, and hopefully you can hear that, be receptive, and now we can have an open, honest communication about that and then move forward from there. It doesn't mean I just get to go do whatever I want. It means I get to speak to you, at least give you that respect to talk to you about it without feeling like you're going to judge me or shun me or just be like, oh no, you're tripping, you're crazy, you're mine, you can't even look at another person.
Everybody, I'm speaking with Miss Sunshine Cummings. She is a women's holistic wellness expert. She's also an expert on fertility, sexual wellness, and health. I want to give you guys her website so that you can follow her because, as you can tell, she knows what she's talking about. She's good at what she does. I just met her about 20 minutes ago, and thanks to Jade Arundel, a mutual friend who you all have seen on the channel before. And these are just sharp black women that I think everybody should know about. And so I want to give you guys her email address before I forget, or her website. Sorry, it's veryimportantgoddess.com. Veryimportantgoddess.com. That's a great name. So look up veryimportantgoddess.com and go support the sister. Please do that. Also, please hit the thumbs up button if you haven't done that. Also, I'll be in Philadelphia May 19th doing a an investing seminar on Malcolm X's birthday. That's May 19th. If you want to know more, go to drboycephiladelphia.com. That's drboycephiladelphia.com. What you said, I think so many topics you hit it on the head, Sunshine, and I think. I think ultimately, the conclusion we got to come to is that people have to define their relationships based on the terms that work for them, right? No two relationships are the same. And one thing I learned about marriage over time is, from watching my friends, I chose not to get married for different reasons. I'm going to at some point, but I just chose not to do it. I chose not to live by people's rules, and I looked at where I was and who I was and what life I wanted. And it just didn't fit in there. And I said, I'm not going to let you bully me into doing nothing, right? So, but I did watch, I had a lot of friends that got married. And I saw some marriages end up happy, but I also saw some marriages really explode. I've had men cry to me because they were financially devastated after the divorce and felt like they couldn't move on. I've seen women bitter, very angry, very upset over things that they felt their husband did to them. And it led me to just realize that, in those situations, you got to tread carefully. And I think one thing I could say is I can't tell people how to live their relationships or their marriage per se. But what I can say is I do believe you got to make your own rules. I do believe you got to find out who you are, who they are, make sure there's a fit, make sure there's an agreement, and move forward with that. And the other thing I learned too, Sunshine, from watching a lot of marriages up close, because I analyze everything. I pay attention to a lot of stuff. And one thing I noticed is that a lot of the marriages that look perfect are not perfect at all. Like they literally have become these really arguably dysfunctional coping schemes where they just sort of say, okay, we need to maintain this image, right? Like we're the happy church going couple down the street and we don't believe in divorce. But when you get under the surface of what's really going on, you'll find out we ain't slept in the same bed in 3 years, and we live like brother and sister, so that the kids can have both parents in the house. And I think that what actually brought my awareness to it was I started just seeing a lot of I had friends that had relationships with married women, and it was and I saw it a lot, and I'd be like, I didn't know women who did all of this. I believe the fairy tale, the fantasy, but I'm not, the illusion's gone. And so I found that really interesting. And one other thing I'll tell you, I'll share the quick story with you, and then I'll let you get the last word. I was watching this really great show that's on Netflix. I don't know if anybody else has ever seen it. It's called Black Mirror. And so if you like good sci-fi techie shows, Black Mirror is a great show, along with Twilight Zone with Jordan Peele, which is on CBS. Anyway, on Black Mirror, there was one episode about a guy who he was convinced that his girlfriend was cheating, and I won't go into the details of the episode and how he had the evidence and everything, but the whole episode was about him finding evidence that she really slept with this guy that she claimed to be a friend. It was a Bismarcky, you got what I need. You say he's just a friend. Right. So it was like one of those things, right? And he's like, oh, you say he's your friend, but what about this? And what about that? And what about this? And what about that? And she's like saying, no, nothing happened, blah, blah, blah. And then he digs a little deeper and finds out that they actually went on a date or two. Right. And she's like, it was just one date, nothing happened, blah, blah, blah. And then he finds out it wasn't one date. They dated 6 months, right? And he's like, I told you, I found out, right? And the whole time he's getting crazier and crazier and crazier. And then at the end, he finds out that it wasn't just a date, it wasn't just a quick relationship, that they really got down. And they actually got down in a way that he felt was very disrespectful and inappropriate, because he found out they got down in his bedroom, right? Yeah, so it was like that, right? So then he suddenly, okay, so he won, right? I caught you. I found out that you blah, 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 right? And so then at the end of the episode, they don't tell you what happened. Like, all you know is that she's not there anymore. He's in there by himself and he's got a bottle of liquor and he's like all distressed about it. You don't know if she walked out. You don't know if he told her to leave. You don't know if he killed her. He could have killed her, right? But then at the very end, he starts reflecting on their relationships, or their relationship, and he starts thinking about how beautiful she was, how she smiled when he came into the room, remembering how much she loved him, and how great of a woman she was, and how much he missed her. And then he realized that all that chaos and that jealousy, even though it was founded, even though he thought he won because he caught her being attracted to somebody else, that he actually lost more than he gained, right? So sometimes you think you won, but you really lost. You know, like if I'm like, aha, I proved that you really don't love me because you did this. But every single thing, but you've done 1,000 things to show me you love me. But I find one thing that says that you know, you didn't love me in the way I thought you loved me, or whatever it is. You know, sometimes we do that. Like we can get, and that's what in economics we call that the winner's curse, where you think you won, but really you lost because you became obsessed with the wrong measuring stick. What are your thoughts on that? I'll let you get the last word.
That makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense. And I think that's another thing that people do when they find out, like, the whole conversation about marriage and it lasting, some marriages lasting really long and 60 years, 50 years or whatever, and knowing that there are all those things that they dealt with in the marriage, the infidelities, the cheating, all of that. And I think that in those relationships back then, some of it is that the women, depending on the time period we're talking about, some women, like, maybe they felt they didn't have a choice because whatever, society, at the time, women weren't necessarily working outside the home and things like that. But nowadays, I feel like that's the case. Like, you have to really dig deep. You have to really say, okay, is this worth losing all of what made me fall in love with you, what made me love you in the first place, what made me commit to you in the first place? You have to really question that. And, and I think sometimes the idea of having your partner having other people that maybe they talk to or that they date or that they're attracted to or whatever, if you know that you're there, they're there, then you have to, you don't have to. You do whatever you want to do, but I think that for some people, they're able to say, okay, that's not the worst. Like, that is not the worst thing that I could put up with. That's not the worst thing that I could deal with, seeing my partner happy with someone else, when I'm happy too. Like, that's over there, but this is what I have here, and I'm going to focus on this and let that be that. Sometimes people come back happier. They go out, they're able to just be free, be themselves, enjoy a date, to talk, a drink, or whatever, and they come back and you have a better relationship.
Well, I can tell you the key. When I coach my daughters on men, I tell them the key to a man's heart is if you can accept him for who he is. But a man ain't really gonna tell you who he really is if he thinks he's gonna get judged. I can tell you that right now.
Right.
If he thinks that you're gonna wag your finger and shame him and all that, he's gonna zip it up and he's gonna tell you exactly what you want to hear. But I told him, I said, but if you can if you can handle the truth, and you get him to open up to you, then he'll love you forever. Or there's a good chance you have a better shot than most, and you may even have the shot of actually accelerating and elevating yourself above all the competing women because he knows he can talk to you about anything. And I think that's the paradox is that people ask for that open, honest communication, but when they get it, they start acting crazy. Well, ain't nobody. It's like when I talk to our the teenager in our house. Like. If every time she tells me a secret, I go crazy and I start judging her and telling her you're gonna go to hell and blah blah blah. You think she's ever gonna tell me anything ever again? No. So yeah, I think my philosophy had gotten to the point where I said, I don't really know. I can't really tell you if Alicia cheats or not because I don't look for that information. But I can tell you in an instant if a woman loves me or not. Like, you can tell when a woman has fallen out of love with you by how she answers the phone, how she responds when you embrace her. And so I learned to focus on the love and not focus so much on the body parts. I think that goes a long way in terms of just not driving yourself crazy worried about what somebody else is doing. But then again, people are going to do what they want to do. So I'm not here to judge. So thank you very much, Sunshine. This has been a very insightful conversation. I would love to have you back. Super smart sister. Everybody, please give her a digital round of applause. Miss Sunshine Cummings. Everybody give her like a thumbs up or a gavel or something. Just say thank you to Miss Sunshine for giving us her time. She did this on short notice, and I'm very appreciative. And also, I'm appreciative to Jade for making the connection, because I think that we need new ideas. We need smart Black people talking to the masses, and not just crazy ignorant people on reality shows. So let me give you guys Sunshine Cummings' website. Her website is veryimportantgoddess.com. That's veryimportantgoddess.com. She is an expert in women's holistic wellness and also fertility, sexual wellness, and health. And as you guys can tell, she's super smart, and she's somebody I think you should follow and pay attention to, because she's awesome. Do me a favor, everybody, before we go, please hit the thumbs up button. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up button. Make sure you subscribe. Don't forget our podcast is on iTunes. So go to iTunes. You can download it, iTunes, SoundCloud. That way you can listen in addition to view. If you want a free e-copy of my book, It Takes a Village to Raise the Bar, go to drboycewatkins.net. That's drboycewatkins.net. And also on Malcolm X's birthday, my next book comes out, Black American Money 3. See that, Sunshine?
I see it.
There you go. There, I was looking fly on the cover. I had one of the millennials I mentor. He said he wanted to dress me, and I was glad he did, because I've never looked so sharp in my life. But anyway, the book comes out May 19th, and that's the same day I'll be in Philadelphia. So if you want to come to our event in Philadelphia, go to drboycephiladelphia.com. That's drboycephiladelphia.com. So thank you guys. Thank you so much, Sunshine. I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
All right. And everybody have a good night. See you soon. Bye-bye.
Good night.